Okay, Chapter 1. In this chapter, you will learn what makes Specsintact unique, some of the common terms used, what type of lines can be used, the main components of Specsintact, steps involved producing a complete job. It is not software. Then what? System? Yes. Word processor? No. One of the first basics you should know about Specsintact is that they're rather referred to as a system rather than software. These reasons call it a system that much more of the specification editing tool allows you to complete management of your projects using specification you need from a standard guide specification known as the masters, editing those specifications to fit your project utilizing automated processes, quality control reports, and finally producing your completed specification of choice of three formats. If you follow the editing rules, you'll quality control automated features, you can produce a final project that is complete and accurate. Learn the language. If you're new to Specsintact, you may find terms unfamiliar. Learning what they may will help you understand how the system works, how to communicate more effectively regarding your project. Some terms you will encounter unique Specsintact other than industrial related. Many already be familiar to you, while others are computer related. Since Specsintact users come from a variety of backgrounds, we define terms as we go along. You can also discover that some of the most common words have specific meaning with the Specsintact. For example, while working with a word processing document, you might say that you're having a trouble with a section referring to a portion of the document, but when working with Specsintact, a section usually is actually an entire document. To help you avoid confusion, we'll point out specific terms by capitalizing them and displaying them in bold when you discuss. This shows Sally, working directory, submittals, references, reports, verification, reconciliation, jobs master sections, job master section tags, submittal reference work directory. Learn how to speak Specsintact is easy for you to fully utilize all features, keeping the section structure correct, and you will learn more about section structure in Chapter 3. The type of files that you edit with the Specsintact are called sections, which when you see them on the computer system, they have a file extension named .sect. Although they can be created from scratch, most of the times you can by editing sections files that you copy from a master. Masters contain 49 divisions. Group of the sections based on the content. You can identify the division. You can identify with a division a section belongs to. Looking at the first two numbers, the section name, for example, 211200, or standby system covers division 21 fire suppression. Alright, master section are formatted with the tag their word again necessary for the Specsintact automated feature failures to work, but you must edit the content of each of your particular project, usually referred to as the job. You'll see two main types of folders displayed in this Specsintact Explorer, Jobs and Masters. Clicking on one of the folders left pane, you can display all the section files it contains with the right pane. At the start, the section files are only type your new project will contain. But as you work, you will produce other types, such as a report output files. Sections or sec files are always the editing copy from which others are produced. Alright, this shows the available jobs and masters. Your two different types of folders in your display Specsintact Explorer. The only file type that is ever edited in Specsintact is the sec file. Therefore, there are too many menus items from the Section Explorer setup menu that controls which are the masters and jobs and displayed in left pane. Using the work directories combine, choose the jobs you want visible, and the connected master show with the masters on your system will be displayed. These two commands can be used at any time and change display. So you have connect masters and jobs. While processing printing a job, you produce the files with a PRN file extension. You will learn more about this in Chapter 5. These files are displayed left pane of the Specsintact Explorer in the process file subfolder under the job, just as like the job folder. Clicking subfolder displays and contents for the right pane. If you need to make further edits, you may always edit the section file, not the PRN file. Or the print job file. When you process the sections again, you need new process files will replace the previous print files or report files. So when you process your section again, the new process files will replace any previous print files or report files. You can also produce process files with the two other formats, Microsoft Word and Adobe Acrobat. The course for these will require with the corresponding software of your system output feature to be available. These files cannot be edited with in Specsintact. They are only produced as a final copy of your specification with these format. The files produced are displayed in the special in Specsintact Explorer. Each type is its own subfolder under the job. All right. Once I have processed and printed my job creating Word files, can I edit them in the Word? Well, yes, but if you do, they must be edited like any other Word document without any Specsintact quality controls, and they cannot be returned to Specsintact. If you ever going back to the job and section Specsintact, any changes you made through the Word will be lost, and best to make changes in Specsintact, then process and print the job again, produce new Word files. So Sally says, so what do we see when we open Specsintact? All right, the Specsintact has two main components: the Specsintact Explorer and Specsintact Editor. To the right, there's a Specsin Explorer. Through the Explorer, you accomplish the project management with putting together specification need with the reports, finals, producing final product. It provides a way to visually manage the entire project, multiple projects at the same time. Two common features in Specsintact are the drag and drop right clicking. For example, in the Explorer, you can add sections to your job by dragging them from either Windows Explorer, a master job, or from another job. You can access common commands like right-clicking, choosing them in the pop-up menu. As you read the SCADA symbol will identify the functions that can be alternately accessed by the right-click menu. Alright, this shows your SI editor. You can make changes with the specification with the SI editor, allow those that more much for the word process. If you do not have some of the standard features, which are probably already familiar, but the edition has specialized toolbars and features to help you more quickly and accurately, especially using those important tags we mentioned earlier. The editor is open through Specsintact Explorer. All right, your Specsintact workflow. What is the workflow of the job from beginning to end? Below this, a brief explanation of the basic life cycle of Specsintact job. All right, start in Specsintact Explorer. Click the New Job button on the toolbar, and then enter the information in the New Job dialog box, General and Option tabs. Select the selections you want for using your job using Add Section dialog box. Use the SI Explorer to open each section in the editor. And then through the editor, make all your changes in sections. Use the process feature in the Explorer frequently as you edit and produce the quality assurance reports. Use the reports to locate the fixed errors in section through the editor. Run through the reports again through the corrections are made. Use the process and print functions to produce your finished job and finish. Alright, as most computer programmers, there are almost like ways to perform many of these common tasks. The illustration shows one path outlining the steps involved using the Specsintact to help you assure your quality end product. Alright, your checklist. Before starting a job, some very common mistakes are routed in failure communication, especially when starting a new job. If you are responsible for starting a new job, editing specifications, you need to be able to ask the right questions at outset. The page contains a list of suggestions questions offered by our tech support staff to get you started on the right foot. Make certain that you're using the most recent specification. Print the master table contents with a scope to give your engineer for the project. It can be found in the Specsintact Explorer with the master section as name scope. The engineer should give you a list of sections to print so that you can mark up the edits and you will be able to making through the Specsintact. At this point, you need to ask the engineer some questions before you begin. Will units of measure be project English, metric, or bold? Should I print the sections for the markup or bold? See the next box, and if one is required. Will you want me to remove tailoring options that may exist? The options are tagged to easily removed when they are not needed and are usually specific to product and region, particular agency. Learning about the tailoring in Chapter 4. Do you require that the editing changes shown as revisions? When using revision, the changes are tagged editingly. They are not permanent until they are executed with the section that must be determined before you begin editing. Learn more about editing revisions. Refer to editing techniques for revisions found in Chapter 6. Alright, now you can print the sections. If a good idea is to print one at a time, print a submittal register with each of the engineer's review. Select the sections Specsintact Explorer right pane. Click the print button in the toolbar. Print processing dialog box will open. Recommended the defaults master only if you need to change the setting to unit measure. Um, Click the option tabs. On the report tabs, check the submittal register. You can change the printer destination at the bottom of the dialog box. Click process and print at the top of the right box to send in selected section submittal register to the printer. Alright, what does spec mean? The acronym spec, support problems encountered commonly. I've been given a section in a PDF. I'm supposed to add it to the job I'm working on. Can I edit this PDF in a Specsintact? Sorry, Betty, but one of the sections is published once the section is published in PDF, you can edit it on you can't edit that output file in Specsintact. You will need to, for your job, actual section and file will be used to produce a PDF. What you learned from this chapter: Specsintact not just the word processing software, rather than system enabled to do both editing process specification, includes automated features qualities. Specsintact contains two main components: Explorer Specs Editor. Through the Explorer, you will accomplish all the project management processing, while the editor allows you to edit the content of the specification. The typical specification files are edited and are section files, which are file extension section or .sec. Specific intact using specific terms are more important to learn than you can do better understanding the software works. However, to maintain the proper structure for the sections, how to communicate with the tech support, and other regarding your work. The basic steps involve bringing the project completion or creative and the job through the Specsintact Explorer, editing sections in Specsintact Editor using question and answer reports, finally processing, printing the job through the Specsintact Explorer. The output file format completed with the job can be in the form of process files or PRNs, Adobe PDFs, or Microsoft Word documents. These output formats only can be directly edited through These output formats only cannot be directly edited through Specsintact. PDF and Word require corresponding software to produce. Chapter 2.